Hey, everybody, welcome to this week's Star Report. This is Jason here at New Dimensions Crystals and Reiki in downtown Brenham, Texas, coming to you with this week's astrology report. It is December the 7th, which is Pearl Harbor Day. The energy might feel a little bit warlike with Mars. Its closest it's going to be all year this week. But let's start with the sun. The sun, we are just this morning begin receiving higher elevations of plasma from the sun, from the coronal hole. It was a very large coronal hole, so it'll probably even pick up in intensity over the next day or two. And so when the coronal holes are coming to, that's the dark parts of the sun, which are openings into its core. And so that sort of stream comes out and gives a little bit of pressure to the earth. You will see in the news, if you're paying attention, there have been some large earthquakes that have occurred. And so that pressure is really sort of squeezing the globe or the place that we live and causing a little bit of intensity, right? Sometimes you might even feel like a little bit of release, like you're being squeezed to like a sponge to release stuff. Totally normal. A lot of times we'll feel that in the upper chest with some pressure, maybe even harder to take some deeper breaths while that plasma is coming through. But as a breathwork professional, what's actually happening when that sun, which is source energy, which creates life on Earth, is sending extra plasma, meaning that that crunch or that squeeze is going on. There's actually thicker air, which is why it's causing it breathing difficulties. And so there's more prana, which is spiritual energy, into the air. And so when you breathe more rhythmically and intentionally that you would like to receive that gift from the sun, then you can actually energize yourself by rhythmic breathing. Perfect time for a plug. We do have 2 more sessions before Christmas for our transformational elemental rhythm breathwork breakthrough sessions that we do on Sundays at 10 a.m. to 11:30. And we'll teach you how to breathe there. You'll definitely get a high intake of plasma and prana from the breath session, and maybe break through to some understandings, to epiphanies, and then even some physical releases, right? Whether that be physical releases of pain or just optimization of the body so that it can actually sort of distribute the energy as you breathe correctly to the parts of the body that need it. So yeah, a really cool time. You can sign up online at newdimensionscrystals.com for that. Moving into the astrology reports for today. Today is Wednesday, like I said, December the 7th. And today, depending on who you look at, or which sort of clock you're checking to see if the moon is full. If the moon is full, today begins the full moon. And so by all means, people who like crystals like I do, it is the day this evening or tomorrow evening will even work, maybe even into Friday evening, to put your crystals out in the moonlight. To charge them is what the technical term really is, but the moon is a magnetic energy. That's why it's colder in the moonlight than it is in the shadows. So it is actually a clearing of your crystals, clearing of any negative energies that they've been helping you release, clearing of any of the things that might have gotten stuck on them around usage. Well, if you're working around negative people and stuff like that. So go ahead and get your crystals out into the moonlight this evening. That doesn't have to be like out on a table, your entire collection, but if you can move them to the window where the moonlight is going to hit, that is going to be good enough to get that cleansing that you're looking for. And so it is full moon tonight, full moon in Gemini. If you remember last week, Gemini is the twin. And so last week I was talking about that today and tomorrow are really choice points about what are you going to do with all of this spiritual exercise, all these epiphanies and discoveries and the work you've been doing on yourself over these retrogrades in 2022, which are coming to an end. What are you going to do with that energy? What choices are you going to make? Where are you going to move? Where are you going to live? What are you going to do? What are you going to focus on? What's going to be your drive for 2023 would be a really good sort of time to start to make those decisions now, which leads us into tomorrow, Thursday, the 8th. Mars will be its closest it's been all year. And actually, it'll be the closest it's been in 26 months. So that would be about August of 2020. So sort of think back to August of 2020 and how the society was going, and think about how intense that was. And that was because Mars was as close as it is going to be tomorrow. And so that conflict energy of Mars is going to be pretty intense, but it's even going to be more intense than 2020. August of 2020, because Mars, while it's being the closest it's going to be all year, it is also opposing the sun, right? So it's going to be on the other side of Earth. Earth is going to be here, and it's going to be directly on the opposite side of the sun. And that's what an opposition means. And so when Mars is opposing the sun is naturally kicked off. So pay attention for short tempers on Friday, Saturday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, being triggered by this Mars energy. But also, this could be instead of the drive to be angry, it could be the motivation, the burning in the chest, the fire that can help you make those decisions, right? So everything is perspective about what your intentions are for this energy. So if your intentions are to make choices that are beneficial for your future and not to get in conflicts over other people's choices, then this energy is going to be totally awesome for you. And then, like I said, that's Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. Saturday, kind of a nothing day. All that energy is going to be residual, but it's going to be this prequel to Sunday, which is another retrograde or the pre-shadow of a retrograde. So if you're trying to make these decisions about what to do Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, try to make them by Sunday, or at least a decision in your mind by Sunday to start working towards those, because Sunday begins the pre-shadow of our next Mercury retrograde, which is about communication and commerce. And so making choices about business and stuff like that, contracts get confusing. It just becomes more difficult to actually close the deal on certain things. And so that Mercury retrograde pre-shadow, that's about 2.5 weeks before Mercury actually goes retrograde. But we begin to start to have the issues that are associated with Mercury about communication and stuff days ahead of that, weeks ahead of that, as it were. And then we move into Monday, what is Monday? 7th, 9th, 10th, 11th, 12th. Monday the 12th, which is a 12-12 power day. So it's the 12th month, the 12th day of 2022. So, oh, look, big lights just came on a thing. Hey, the lights are going to come on 12/12. So it is a power day. That's funny as all get out. I'm going to leave that in this video. I'm not going to stop talking. 12/12 is a power day, right? So it's just sort of that balance where we sort of complete everything we began on 1/1. So January 1st. This is sort of the energy where we're tying the loose ends up of what we began in January, what we wanted to be, what kind of progress have we made, and sort of using that energy to move us into the holiday season, which is, I think, almost it, which leads us into Tuesday, which is the 13th, December the 13th, is when the Geminids meteor peak. And so they're called Geminids because we're in Gemini, and they look like they're appearing in the sky in the sign of Gemini. And so that energy is really going to increase your insight into dreams. Right. So your communication might become difficult between people, but the communication with these Geminids is going to really increase the communication which happens in dreams. So you might want to think about journaling extra or journaling at all if you don't. Starting about Tuesday, when these Geminids, these meteor showers are peaking, because they're going to really trigger awakenings into the dream state and give you symbolism and memories and insight if you can remember them, right? A lot of us don't wake up and remember our dreams, or a lot of us don't see visuals in our dreams. We just realize something's been different. And so if you can sort of grasp those little bits of information, you can have a really great Tuesday evening into Wednesday evening with this meteor shower peaking and giving us that spiritual dreamlike energy. I believe that is all for the Star Report this week. Until next time, guys, many blessings. Don't forget to like and subscribe.